Hi viewers, welcome to my tutorials. Today I'm going to take you through the Kcse 2020 Paper 1 Mathematics question number 23. The question was on matrix, and the question read that given that matrix M, a matrix of 3, P minus a half and 1 is a singular matrix, we find the value of P. That was part A. So in this case, what you are required to remember is that a singular matrix, the determinant is 0. That is, for a singular matrix, determinant equals to 0. And therefore, it means, and we know that to find the determinant is the product of the leading diagonal minus the product of the other diagonal. And therefore, that implies that 3 times 1, if we minus P into P minus a half, this will be equal to 0. So you want to get this 3 times 1 is 3 minus. Now we have this, you open the bracket, it will be P squared. This negative and negative makes it a positive plus a half P equals to 0. Now you could have decided and multiply by 2 all the sides so that you remove this denominator of a half, so that we could have here 6 minus 2p squared, then plus p equals to 0. So you can rearrange this in a quadratic format. We know quadratic format is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. This is the quadratic equation. So we rearrange that in the equation in that format. So we start with negative 2p squared, then plus p plus 6 equals to 0. This negative, I can remove the negative here, so I divide by the negative all through. This becomes 2p squared minus p minus 6 equals to 0. So this is the quadratic equation. We solve the quadratic equation of 2p squared minus p minus 6 equals to 0. So the equation formed, you solve it quadratically. We can use the quadratic formula. If we use the quadratic formula, then our P becomes minus this one. So it's minus 1. The coefficient of this B is 1. Coefficient here of B is 1. So it is minus 1. So it is 1 positive. Then plus or minus the square root of B squared. And our B here is 1 squared, which is 1. So 1. Then minus 4ac, minus 4 times 2 is 8, that is 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times negative 6 becomes negative 48, negative 48 minus 48, so it becomes positive 48. So all over 2a, that is 2 times 2 is 4. So that means our P equals to 1 plus or minus the square root of 49 is 7. All over 4. So which is equal to P can be equal to what? So our P, so it implies that our P equals to, if we take the positive one, that's 1 plus 7 all over 4, or 1 minus 7 all over 4. So my P equals to, this is 8 over 4, 8 over 4, which is equal to 2, or our P is, P equals to minus 6 all over 4, which is equal to negative 1.5. Negative 1.5. So these were the values of B, and that is what you were required to do. But B of the question is talking about a person called Gray. He had a basic salary of X Kenyan shillings per month and Y Kenyan shillings for each extra hour worked. And Mtua's basic salary is 20% more than Gray's basic salary, but also earns Y Kenyan shillings for each extra hour worked. So extra hour worked, each of them earned the same amount of Y. So we are told that in a certain month, Gray worked for 30 extra hours and earned a total of 70,000 Kenyan shillings. So first of all, how much did Gray earn? It is 70,000 Kenyan shillings. So that means the amount for Gray basic salary is X. So that means our X, equation 1 is our X, the basic salary, plus the extra amount he earned. Kirai worked for 30 hours. So each hour he was earning Y Kenyan shillings, because both of them, each extra hour worked, they were earning Y shillings. So he earned Y shillings. So Y times 30 extra hour worked, that's plus 30Y. This will be equal to the amount he earned for the whole month, which was 70,000. So that is our equation 1. Equation 2. Equation 2, now we are told about this other guy called Mutua. Mutua's basic salary is 20% more than Kirai. So that means Mutua's basic salary for Mutua, so that tells you that basic salary for Mutua is 120 all over 100 of X. That's what he was earning, 120, because it is 20% more, meaning that if Kirai is at 100, then he's at 120. So it is 120 over 100 times X, the amount Kirai was earning. So it is, this gives you 1.2 X. That is what he was earning as the basic salary. So it is 1.2 X plus the hour he worked is 40 hours extra. We are told that Mutua worked extra hour, that is extra of 40 hours. So plus 40 each hour, the both of them were earning Y shillings per month. So Y shillings per hour per extra hour. So 40Y, this gives you the total amount of Mutua, which is 8,000. So these were the two simultaneous equations that you were supposed to form, so that you score 2 marks. Then next question was that you use matrix method to solve for X and Y. So what you do, you rearrange these equations in matrix format. So in matrix format, we take the coefficient here of X is 1, and the coefficient of this X, that in the second equation, is 1.2. The coefficient of Y here is 30, and the coefficient of Y is 40. So times XY, this gives you 70,000 and 8,000. So this is the matrix equation. The equation in matrix form. So we find the determinant of this. And the determinant we said is the leading diagonal product minus the product of the other diagonal. So it is 40 times 1, which is 40. So our determinant equals to 40 times 1, which is 40, minus 30 times 1.2. 30 times 1.2, we get, that is 30 times 1.2 is like 12 times 30. You get this is 0, this is 6, this is 36 point, so it's 36. So it is minus 36. This gives you 4. So you get 4 is our determinant. And we know for us to form the inverse of a matrix, because we're supposed to pre-multiply by the inverse in both sides. We need to pre-multiply the matrix by the inverse in both sides. So we find the inverse. So the inverse of this matrix, inverse equals 2 of this matrix becomes 1 over determinant, that's 1 over 4, into, we interchange this and we negate these diagonals. So we interchange it, becomes here 40, we negate this one, becomes negative 30, we negate this, becomes negative 1.2, and this one now we bring 1 here because you interchanged. And then all this, the inverse, that is the inverse. So we multiply everything by the inverse. That is the left hand side and the right hand side. And therefore, for us to solve. So it implies that this is the inverse. If you open the bracket, that becomes 10. 40 divided by 4, it becomes 10. And this is negative 30. We divide by 4. Negative 30, we divide by 4. It becomes negative 7.5. So negative 7.5. And then this one becomes, we divide by 4, negative 1.2 divided is negative 0.3, negative 0.3. And this one becomes a quarter, which is 0.25, 0.25. So this is the, we pre-multiply all through, that is 1, 30, 1.2, 40, xy equals to multiply, that is the matrix, which is 10, negative 0.3, we have 7.5 negative and 0.25, and then with this one 70,000 and 88,000. So we multiply that. So if a matrix, when we talk about a matrix times its inverse, it gives an identity matrix. So this one is an identity matrix of, we know identity matrix of 1, 0, 0, 1. All this gives you that times xy will be equal to multiply here, we start with 10 times 70 plus negative 7.5 times 88,000 times 88,000. So if you multiply those two, this one will give you, that is 700,000 minus, this becomes negative, which is minus 660,000. So that one gives you 40,000. So we shall have 40,000. This minus this, you get 40,000. And you also do the next column, the next row, the same. That is negative 0.3 times 70,000 times 70,000, you get negative 21,000. This gives you negative 21,000 plus 22,000. That is 0.25 times 88,000 gives you 22,000. So negative 21,000 plus 22,000, you get 1,000. So this is 1,000. So 1,000. So if you have this, gives you that. So this implies that now if you multiply an identity times a matrix, the answer is that matrix. So this identity times this matrix, which is xy, the answer is xy. So that means that xy equals to what you got here, which is 40,000 and 1,000. So this tells you that x equals to 40,000 and y equals to 1,000. So this is what was required. We were required to use the matrix method to find the values of x and y. So this is what you are required to do. The simplest way of doing these questions. It had no stress if you follow the procedure without meddling. Now, thank you for listening to my tutorials, and I'm sure you subscribe so that you can get more questions. I'm going to do my next video on question number 17 of 2020, paper 1. Thank you for listening.